Hi guys, Ash here from the Colours and Blues Supporters Club Ireland podcast, and welcome to another video. And as you can see in the title, I'm not going to dwell on this one too much because I think we've seen enough videos around different YouTube channels and different podcasts. We've heard enough of it trashed on Monday night, and it's a big week for Everton Football Club and our history basically. Monday night was an absolute shocker. I felt maybe, because the way Chelsea have been hit and miss, they're scoring goals and enough goals to get them to win the odd game here and there. They're also conceding goals. But do I go as there to say that first maybe 5 or 6 minutes, we tried to go at Chelsea. The big miss by Beto, coming off his knee and going right over the bar. It looked like it could have been offside. Anyway, even if he did score, probably are lucky it would have been offside. But once that moment happened, they pretty much went down the other end. And it was after that, it was just the Cole Palmer show. And I never heard of the guy, I have to say, when Chelsea bought him. I was wondering, oh my God, 40 million for who? Sure, even on FIFA, the current FIFA, if you buy FIFA, he's not given the best star rate in the world, because even FIFA, I suppose, the producers of the game never heard of him. But wait, you see, for in the next FIFA FC game, you'll find that he'd be in the 80s. He was just a star, and we just didn't know how to deal with him. But from that moment on, with that better miss, I think we just down tools. And so we're going as far as to say that we are just not playing for the manager, and they just don't want him at the club anymore. And at this point in time, there's a lot of calls for him to be sacked, and almost a week later, he is still in charge at the club. And that's all because our good old pal Mashiri, who was there at Chelsea tonight but won't show up at Goodison. Be interested to see if he's at Goodison on Sunday. He's not pumping any more money into the club. He obviously doesn't care too much, that he just wants the whole 7-7-7 thing done. We don't have a proper board, so we don't have the facility or the manpower behind sacking Sean Dyche. But at this point, I think his time at the club is untenable. He just has to go. I think if we don't get 6 points from the 3 games coming up next, we are in big trouble. We've got to win against Nottingham Forest. The derby is a write-off. You can do all your conspiracy theories and whatever way you want to think of it. The Sky are not going to let Liverpool lose that game, for the simple reason is, if you look at what's happened in the previous fixtures, Liverpool lost, Arsenal lost, Manchester City win. So, there is people out there that can, talking about they're going to try and keep the title as tight as they can. So that means, in theory, that this time, this weekend, it's Man City who should be dropping points, in their next game, and then Liverpool will pick up points, Arsenal pick up points, and it brings it on nice and closer to the way that they want it in their little slimy little world. But we'll see what happens on Wednesday. I just don't see us getting anything in that derby. So just scrap that as a training game, basically, and then another game then, of course, at the weekend when we play Brentford. So I think we've got to get 6 points from these games. 6 points, and maybe we can think that we're just about going to scrape it through. We still obviously have to play Luton, and hopefully, with any, we have to do, the guys have to do their job on the pitch. Hopefully, by the end of the weekend's games, it's looking a bit more rosy for us. But it's not going to end, because if things don't change, even if by some stretch of the imagination Sean Dyche gets us out of it, I still want him gone at the end of the season, and somebody else has to come in to steady the ship, because we can't go through this again. We all know that there's going to be another points deduction at some point along the lines. We can't keep going the way we are going. As I said before, I said in the last video I had a comment from a guy saying he thought I was joking when I said we're bringing likes of Carsley and a Dunk team in together. Somebody has to come in to steady the ship. There's even there one of the lads on our WhatsApp channel this morning, there was a rumor that maybe David Moyes was going to leave West Ham at the end of the season. And I've said this before, and I'll put my hand up, I've said it before, that I wouldn't want David Moyes back of the bed because of the way he left Everton in the first place. He didn't come out and tell us at the point in time saying, I'm going to leave Everton at the end of the season because Manchester United have offered me a chance that it's too good to turn down. And I would have accepted that. 10, 11 years of, of what the job that he'd done in my lifetime, apart from the FA Cup in 1995, he's given us those ups and downs. He's given, finishing and almost getting into the Champions League, and a few seasons here and there getting into Europe. So he has been a successful manager in the past. But the way that he left sneakily to join Manchester United, I said to myself, he's because he's gone on to be a failure, I suppose, at Manchester United, and. Just he won obviously in Europe with West Ham last season. I'm fair due so, but I've always said he made his bed. I wouldn't welcome him back. Now I put my hands up. I would take him back to steady this ship. Sorry guys, I still have this cough. I would take him back at this point in time. But going into Sunday's game, the fans are going to be asked again, get behind the team. Get behind the team. But guys, the lads on the pitch have got to do it. I'm definitely going to be there on Sunday in Matters. I didn't go to the game on Monday evening because I got up and I said no. And I went into thing. I was sitting there in my jersey, watched the game, and straight after, in my local, we do an online quiz on a Monday, and all the teams came up on the screen, and people were logging in just for the crack. There was a couple of Chelsea supporters behind me. Well, I think they were celebrating all the Chelsea goals anyway. And the two teams came up in the listing of the names. One was Everton are shite, and the other one was Everton aren't very good. By the time the quiz kicked off, they were logged out and they were gone. But just to go to show, there was a bit of laughter, bit of banter going on in the pub in regards to that match. But Sunday has got to be a win. And the win is obviously the most important thing. But to get a few goals in that game would be absolutely amazing, because obviously the goal difference in that one game against Chelsea has been wiped out. We've got to get more goals now, and 3 points. And by some miracle, if Wednesday comes along and we've won in the derby, I'll be even ecstatic even more again. And then going into the weekend's games against Brentford, if we get 9 from 9, oh my God, do I see it happening? No. The fear in me is worried about this game on Sunday. We obviously still have a couple of injury issues. Onana, I don't know what he was doing on the pitch. Like a lot of the team on Monday night, don't know what he was doing on the pitch. When I saw Ashley Young was playing again, even at half-time, when we were 4-0 down and he made the changes, Young was still on the pitch. Couldn't understand it. And even at that point, I'm trying to remember the bench, how many youngsters he had on the bench. But a 4-0 down, Everton were not going to get back into that game. If we were lucky, we would have got one goal if we had a good chance. I would have, if Mackenzie Hunt was on, I would have brought him on. I certainly would have brought on Danjuma to give him a few minutes. Chermiti again, bring him on, take off Beto. Because these guys, that's a nothing game, and your goal difference has been wiped out. You may as well have just put them on and give them some minutes. Like I want to see Andre Gomez start ahead of Onana on Sunday. I want to see, hopefully, Idrissa Gana Gueye is fit. Hopefully, Doucouré is okay. We don't know what the story is so far with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But Beto is just, like everyone else says, you feel repetitive when you hear it. I think he's lucky enough if he's going to be a championship striker at best. Maybe if the worst thing comes to worst and we go down next season, he'll end up being one hell of a striker and getting 30-odd goals a season. Don't see it happening personally, but this week is monumental, absolutely monumental for this club. And I think at an absolute minimum in those 3 games, it's got to be 6 points. It's got to be 6 points. And if things go wrong on Sunday and we don't get that win, I think Sean Dyche should be gone. Somebody out there might take on, as it's been now called, the poison chalice, to see if they can take us up. There's even talk, people want to bring back Big Sam. And even if the fan base agrees with it, the club agrees with it, and thinks it's a great idea, do you really, really think even if the money was amazing, which it won't be because we can't afford it, do you really think Sam Allardyce will come back to our club the way that we shafted him that time? After we got ourselves out, he got ourselves out of the situation, and then we let him go. He's not going to want to come back. And if the phone was to ring and he picked it up, he'd laugh himself silly. Even if you offered him 3 years of live kebabs, he's not coming back to Everton Football Club. If I had to take a magic wand right now and say, okay, click your finger, out goes Sean Dyche, who comes in? It would have to be David Moyes for me, really. I just think he's the one that there is a fan base that still loves him for what he did for the club. And then there's the small minority like myself, even now will still have said, like, you made your bed and we would never want to see you back at the club again. I would very happily put my hand up and say, I would, for Beck and Fly, wherever you're coming from, I would definitely put my hands up and say, please come back. And I would offer him the contract to get us out of this mess, because I think he could do it. And other people are saying put Leighton Baines in there. Would Leighton Baines do any worse than Sean Dyche? I don't think so. And I think the Sean Dyche would have, sorry, not Sean Dyche, Leighton Baines would have the backing of a lot of the players. And obviously he's worked with some of the younger players. So I think he would have a good backing if he was interested in taking that job on. But I had that. Dunk, Carsley, bring them in, and let's get it done. Because, as I said, these 3 games are absolutely imperative that we get minimum 6 points. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna leave it there. I'll see you all on Sunday in Maher's. To kick off is 1:30. Wish it wasn't too early, so I'll be finishing work, go home, snooze for an hour, and go, oh, there's my house, and then we'll be back in again. So I'll see you on Maher's on Sunday, and please God, it's a massive 3 points for the Toffees. See you soon. Stay blue.